So welcome everybody to the winter session of 2022. My name is Dr. Salamoni. I'll be your tour guide for the next 4 weeks of college algebra this semester. First of all, welcome. This is the first time that BSU has done 4-week winter intersession courses. And in the math department, we've been kind of holding off on offering a course like college algebra during the winter because the old 2-week terms were really just not enough time to do justice to the content, the amount of material that we sort of have to treat in a college algebra course. We want to make sure that not only do you have enough time to get it, but we want enough time for it to be able to sink in and for it not to completely ruin your life during those weeks of the winter intersession. So this is a first time for us doing it in this 4-week format as an asynchronous web course. So I'll be doing a little bit of learning along the way, and I hope that you will as well. So I want to say just a few words about the course this semester, some of our online tools that I'll be using both to interact with you during the semester and then also for you to access course materials, submit assignments, and so forth. And I also want to say a few words about the somewhat unique approach that I take to grading that I think is really super helpful for a course like this one, but it will be kind of unfamiliar probably for you, so a lot of questions will probably come up. Please drop them into the Discord chat as they come up, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this after the fact. Whatever questions you have about it, drop them there, and I will do my best to answer them as quickly as we can, just so that everybody knows kind of what the expectations are like as the course starts to get started. So first thing that I want to do is talk a little bit about the main sort of site for interaction for the course for the semester is a site called Canvas. And Canvas is a site that's a learning management system. It's sort of like Blackboard, but I adopted it for use in this course because it's a much better match for my unique grading system. It's really hard to make Blackboard do what Canvas is able to do from the grading perspective. I also just happen to think it's a much friendlier site. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to find what you're looking for, and just the ways that it sort of organizes material, I think, are a lot nicer. So you should have received an invitation to our Canvas course in your email over the weekend before the semester just began. If you didn't get that message, please do let me know as soon as possible because getting you connected with Canvas is a top priority for me as soon as possible. What you'll see when you get to the front page of Canvas are kind of these two large buttons. I'm going to switch over to the student view here just to make sure that you're seeing exactly what I would be seeing here. Two big large buttons that sort of are the two main stick and rudder for our airplane this semester. One of them is the community chat button that takes you over to our community chat on Discord. I'll talk about that next. But the first, and this is probably the one you're going to be clicking the most often when you arrive in Canvas, is the Access Modules button. So when you click on the Access Modules button, it takes you to all of the assignments and the places where you'll be able to access and submit assignments for the semester. Right now there's not a lot that you'll see here because on this first day of the semester I want to focus on getting you connected with your portfolio and completing the prologue writing assignment for that portfolio. So you don't see it on my screen, but on your screen you'll see a link in your portfolio that has your name on it. When you click that link, it will bounce you over to a Google document that is shared between you and me, and you'll have to go through the process of requesting access to that document. You can either use your personal Google account to do that if you want to, or if you don't have a personal account or wish not to use your personal Google account for that, you can use your Bridgewater email address and password because we actually do have a link to Google Docs from your BSU credentials. So most important thing for the first day of class is get connected with that portfolio, click on request access, complete this prologue writing assignment. It's just a chance for you to kind of look ahead at the semester and just sort of think broadly, what we call metacognitively, make a plan basically for yourself for the semester. What is success going to look like? What is it going to feel like? Just do a little bit of wish casting. The first assignment is called How I Earned an A in College Algebra, in which I ask you to reflect on how you earned an A in college algebra by imagining what that would be like at the end of the semester and what would have been your secret to success. These are kind of words of wisdom that are not only for yourself, but these are suitable to pass on to any other student who might be thinking about taking college algebra in the future. So that's the prologue writing assignment. Get connected with your portfolio today. I'll have more to say tomorrow about the more specific ways of interacting with the modules and the homework assignments and everything else in Canvas, but for now, that's the most important piece. Second step that I want to point out a little bit is our Discord community. If you're in here right now, then it means that if you're watching this live, it means you already know how to find our Discord community. If you're watching this after the fact, probably you have already found the Discord as well. But what you'll see in the Discord, if you haven't taken a look already, are a bunch of chat channels. There are some that are common channels to all my students over the winter. I have 2 different winter courses, and so there are some times when I need to communicate with both courses at the same time, or you might have a question that's not related to your specific course, and you can find ways to chat about that up in the common channels. But then the courses themselves have their own sets of channels. So for college algebra, you'll have a set of channels called Math 122, where you can interact with the other folks in the course, as well as with myself. The announcements channel is one that is read-only for you, so this is a place where I'm going to post all of our course announcements, but there's not really an opportunity for you to reply and chat in here. Your replies and chats can go in any of the other channels, including the general chat, so this is a good place to ask questions about the structure of the course, expectations, grading policies, due dates, all of those logistical nuts and bolts related to the course. Great place to put those is drop them into general chat. This is similar to what would happen in a regular classroom if you're just sort of like, as class is beginning, hey professor, did you post assignment number 6 yet? Those kinds of questions that would benefit the whole class to hear the answer. That's why we keep them in a general chat like this. There is also a math chat channel in here. This would be the perfect place to go to ask a question about the math. If you have questions about something that you're working on in the homework, or if you're doing a reading and you sort of ran into something that was confusing, the math chat channel would be a great place for that. And the third channel is the video archive. So as I create videos over the course of the semester, those will populate, links to those videos will populate automatically in here. They're reading off of a YouTube playlist that I'm uploading these videos to. So these are going to be the videos that are sort of most specific to our course happening with our group of students this semester. There are a bunch of other videos that are linked into the Canvas site that are more general and more math teaching. But the most specific sort of videos related to this semester of this course, those will be appearing here in the video archive after they're posted. You can also find video hangouts like the one that I'm in right now, the Math 122 video hangout. Anytime we want to simulate kind of a virtual class meeting, then that's the video hangout that I'm going to use. But you'll also see at the bottom a set of study rooms. These are places you can jump into with classmates at any time that you want to. They're empty if you don't see people's names underneath them. So if you want to meet, if you're working on a group project for one of my classes, or if you just want to sort of collaborate with somebody in real time, this is a quick way to kind of do what Zoom would otherwise do. It just creates an instant automatic audio and or video hangout. You can share your screen and all that kind of stuff. So think of these like little study rooms where you can meet with classmates or meet with me. If you meet with me in one of these places, we'll probably use the Dr. S's office study room. So this is the wonderful thing about Discord, is it kind of has ways to interact asynchronously via text chats, and then also ways to interact synchronously via audio and video, kind of living alongside one another in the same place. So that's the reason why I really like this as a platform for an asynchronous web course like ours. So let me talk a little more about how the modules in Canvas are going to work. So in order to do that, I think I need to actually bring one up onto the screen so you can see what it's going to look like. So just give me a second to get that. I have to leave the student view so I can point out how this is going to work. There's also, I hope, a really helpful flowchart in the syllabus that kind of explains a little bit more about this structure. But first, let me show you what you'll see. So when a module opens, this is roughly what it's going to look like. It kind of includes a bunch of little chunks of assignments that go along. There's generally for each topic going to be a reading chunk and a watching chunk. These you can interact with however fits your learning preferences that day the best. If you feel like reading, you can read. This links out to the OpenStax textbook for the course. If you feel like watching a video instead, these videos were produced by various YouTube content creators that are specifically linked to these sections of this online textbook, so they should be all pretty relevant to the content that's in there. So reading and watching, and then also discussing in the math chat channel on Discord are a great way to get you started. Then the first sort of tasks that you'll do and perform and submit via Canvas are going to be homework. Think of these like practice problems. If you click on one of these, where it'll take you is to an assignment through a system called MyOpenMath, but it's sort of baked into Canvas. If you've used any kind of online homework systems in the past, this is going to be a kind of a familiar interface. And so when you hit start on an assignment in here, it'll serve you up some questions, answer the questions, submit the questions, improve your score. What's great about MyOpenMath and the way that I have it set up is that you can continue to improve your score on these practice problem sets, these homework assignments, as often and as long as you like. The finish line that I've set on each of these homework sets is an 80% credit mark. So as soon as you have achieved 80% or more credit on one of these homework sets, then you can be done with that homework set and move on to the next thing in the module. But until you have earned homework credit up to the 80% level in a module, you will not be able to go on in that module. So these practice problems are your first really important set of tasks in each module. After you've read the text and or watched the lecture videos and or talked about it on Discord, jumping in and working on these homework problems is the first really important way to get you started. If you have questions about how to use the MyOpenMath interface to answer questions or anything like that, actually you might want to put them in the tech support channel in Discord. It's one of the common channels because all my students this winter are using MyOpenMath and Canvas and Discord. So if you have questions about them, the tech support channel is probably a good place. That way everyone in both courses can benefit from the answer to those questions. So after you have gone through and gotten 80% or more in MyOpenMath on the homework assignments in a module, the completion assignment for that module will unlock. And generally that's called a completion quiz. So once I get 80% on homework 1.1 in this module, for example, completion quiz AL1 is going to unlock. And the way that a completion quiz is going to work, this is a pencil and paper assignment. So when you open up that completion quiz, it'll have some questions in there for you to complete. You'll have to complete those on paper, capture and upload your written solution. I will then assess those myself for credit for completion for that module. So that's how each of these modules generally works. 80% on the homework will unlock the completion quiz. Once you earn credit for a completion assignment in a module, you have earned credit for that module and you can move on. I'll talk a little bit more about the subtleties to that in just a moment. But that is sort of where you wrap up everything in a module. If you complete a completion quiz and you don't earn credit for it, that will unlock a revision quiz. So a second version, basically, of the completion quiz for you to attempt a second time. If you don't earn credit that time, there is a third option I'll talk about in just a moment when we take a look at the syllabus. So in each of the modules is kind of designed for you to continue to work and to continue to improve, continue to get feedback from MyOpenMath when you're working on homework, feedback from myself when you're submitting completion or revision quizzes, to continue to help you improve until there is enough evidence for me to be able to say, yes, you have demonstrated mastery of this topic. And once you've demonstrated mastery of that topic, you can move on. Once you earn credit for a topic, you have that credit for the remainder of the semester. I'm never going to take it away from you. But when we talk about the portfolio is going to be sort of where your best work resides, and your grade for the semester is really dependent mostly on that portfolio. So once you receive credit for one of these completion assignments, it is then time to write up your solution in your portfolio for the semester. And again, you will have a link at the top of your modules called Your Portfolio. It'll have your name on it. So right now you're seeing everybody's because I'm looking at the instructor view. You'll just see your own name, hopefully. If you don't see your own name, or if you see more than your own name, please let me know because that means something is messed up. But what you'll see when you click through to that portfolio after you have access is a shared Google document that's called College Algebra Portfolio. You will have access to that document. I will have access to that document. This is our shared space for you to record your best work throughout the semester. And this portfolio is going to be your grade for the semester. So what you'll see when you get in here is a cover page that I'd like for you not to touch, please. This is going to be where I keep kind of a running record of the work that's in your portfolio. Every time I come in and I assess it, I'll sort of make adjustments to the marks and the points that are here, and your point total, I'll try to keep that updated down here at the bottom. And then there is a section. What I love about Google Docs is you can just jump to it. There's a section for each of our 26 learning objectives for the semester. So if we jump down to AL1, for example, There's a page in here called AL1 Arithmetic Expressions. It has a statement of what is the learning objective for this topic. It has a link to the relevant sections of our textbook that cover this topic, and then a place for you to put in your best solution after you have received credit for your completion assignment in a module. You can either take your solution and just copy paste it directly into this portfolio. We'll talk a little bit more about how to do that again tomorrow. Or if there is a need for you to have improved that solution in some way because it was satisfactory for the topic, but it was not yet exemplary, then you'll have an opportunity to rewrite it, get continued feedback on it, and so forth. So this is the last step in a module. Once you have earned credit for the topic, for your solutions for that topic, take your solutions and translate them over into your portfolio. And that is where all your credit for the semester will come from. And the rubric for that is that if your solution in your completion quiz was satisfactory, meaning that there was enough evidence for me to be able to say, yes, you learned this topic and you don't need any re-instruction on it, but there might be some minor gaps or things that you might want to work on, but it's satisfactory enough for you to earn credit. Satisfactory solutions that appear in your portfolio will earn 7 points each for the semester. In order to earn a full 10 points for a solution, it needs to be exemplary in your portfolio. Now, I'm not expecting your solutions on a completion assignment, a completion quiz, to be exemplary the first time around. Most of the time they won't be, and that's okay. Shooting for satisfactory in the completion process is probably where you want to be shooting for. But by the time they make it into your portfolio, try to make them into polished exemplary solutions. And what that means for me is that an exemplary solution, let me zoom in on this so you can read it a little bit better. An exemplary solution is one that, first of all, includes a full statement of the problem, not just your responses to it, but also write out the full problem that's in there. It needs to include a full step-by-step and process-oriented solution without skipping any steps. And the rubric for that is, don't skip any steps that would confuse one of your classmates, somebody who's currently learning college algebra. Don't skip any steps that they might need to have there in that process. One of the hard parts about showing your work in a math class is that very often the only person reading it is your professor, and your professor kind of mentally knows how to fill in the gaps because we have expertise in the area. But so try to think of your audience in this portfolio as a fellow student. What steps would they need to see in order to make sure that they're not being left behind by your solution? So that's the rubric for that. Your polished solutions must also include written annotations. Yes, English words and English sentences, presuming English is your first language, or at least that English is a language that you can write fluently in. Written annotations that reveal your thought process, the justifications for the steps you take, and or words of advice. So these annotations should be written neatly either alongside your solution or above and below your calculations. Those words need to be there in order for your solution to count as exemplary. You can either typeset your finished solutions, which is kind of tricky to do if you don't have experience typesetting mathematics, but if you want to learn how to do it, I'll be sharing resources for that over the semester. Otherwise, if you prefer to write it out very neatly by hand, in neat handwriting, you can do that and capture it and upload it as an image file into your portfolio. And each of your solutions should appear on a single page so that each of your topics, so your polished solutions for AL1, for example, should all appear on the page that has this AL1 on it. And so by the end of the semester, what you should have as your portfolio is kind of this master study guide, in a way, that has your best solution for each one of the topics in the semester suitable for use as a study aid. Now, we don't have a final exam this semester. We'll talk more about that in a second. But if you did have a final exam, this is the kind of study guide that you wish you could have. It's the kind of thing you wish you could bring to a final exam, if you could bring a study resource. It sort of shows you your best solution for each one of these topics in a way that is most helpful for somebody learning college algebra. So this portfolio is your grade for the semester. And so the only points that you receive for the semester are going to be those that reflect a satisfactory solution to one of the topics that appears in your portfolio, or an exemplary solution to one of the solutions that appears in your portfolio. And then there's 2 writing assignments that bookend the course, the prologue assignment at the beginning and the epilogue assignment at the end. Each of those, just by virtue of completion of that assignment, will get you 5 points. And those are the only points that your portfolio will accrue for the semester. I will keep track of those points as I assess them. And if at any time you want me to come in your portfolio and check your work, reassess anything that was previously assessed, just let me know, drop me a message in the Discord, and I'm happy to come in and take a look and provide you with some feedback. So the last thing that I want to talk about is how my grading system works, because I don't grade like most math teachers you've probably had in the past grade. There are a number of math teachers who are starting to grade in this way, and I think it's really exciting, but it's going to be a little bit unfamiliar at first. So let's talk a little bit about mastery grading. So the first organizing philosophy of mastery grading is that your grade should reflect, and should only reflect, how many of our course learning objectives that you have mastered by the end of the semester. And there are a lot of ways in which traditional ways of grading don't do that. If I'm like, giving people points for attendance, or if I'm marking you down for not attending, or if I'm taking off points because, I don't know, your writing is you misspelling words or whatever, right? There are a lot of things that get assessed in a traditional, get rewarded in a traditional grading structure that don't directly have to do with did you learn the material of the course. And so the first thing I want to do is make sure that your grade is an accurate reflection. How many of these learning objectives did you master? How many outcomes did you meet? And there's 26 of them in total for our course. And those are the way that the modules in the course are arranged. So there's 5 topics that relate to what are called the Algebra Essentials. These are kind of the intermediate level algebra topics that we're going to need to have as a foundation for everything that we do at the college algebra level. There's 5 topics in equations and inequalities. So how do you solve equations, solve inequalities, and express those solutions to the different types of algebraic functions. And then comes probably the most important chunk in the course, the functions and graphs chunk. There are 9 different objectives here related to functions, graphs, and types of functions. And then 2 sets of modules related to different kinds of functions that are going to be most important for us. Linear functions are a really big deal, so there's 3 topics related to linear functions, and then 4 outcomes related to polynomial and rational functions. So it's 26 in total. And your grade is almost completely determined by how many of these 26 have you mastered over the course of the semester, either at the satisfactory level or at the exemplary level in your portfolio. And so every time that I assess some of your work, it receives not points, but a letter mark that tells you, did you master this topic yet? Do you need to be re-instructed on it? Or do you need to try again, basically? So there are 2 types of marks that earn credit: an E mark for exemplary work. So if you ever get an exemplary mark on a completion quiz or something like that, that means that you can just copy paste that work into your portfolio and it's already exemplary. If you receive a satisfactory mark on a completion quiz, if you copy paste that into your portfolio, you'll get satisfactory points for it, 7 points. But that there's some additional work that you could do in order to bring it up to the exemplary level if you wanted to earn more credit for it. But either way, a credit mark earns you credit in your portfolio. The other marks, the R mark for revise and the N mark for not assessed, these earn no credit at all. So I don't really do partial credit for work that is less than satisfactorily standard. But what I do is give you repeated opportunities to improve upon that previous work. So that's what my feedback is for, and that's what will help you to dust up a solution so that when it goes into your portfolio, by the time it goes into your portfolio, it needs to have been assessed as at least satisfactory, if not exemplary. And so here's a list of what those terms mean. This is what I'm going to be looking for. Generally, again, my rule of thumb, when I look at your completion quiz, for example, I'm going to look at it and say, is it clear to me that you've mastered this topic? Even if you've made some minor errors in arithmetic or algebra along the way or whatever, can I tell that you've mastered it? Or do I think that you need to go back and do some additional reading, some additional discussion, watch some additional videos? Is re-instruction necessary for some reason? If it is, then you're going to get either a revise or a not accessible. If it's not, if it's clear you don't need to be reassessed, then you've got credit and you can start putting that topic into your portfolio. And so letter grades wise, the value of your portfolio at the end of the semester is the primary driver of your grade. Those 10 points that come from the 2 writing assignments, everybody's going to have those as long as you do those writing assignments on time. And so then each of the 26 topics has either 0, 7, or 10 points, depending on whether you've mastered it, whether you've mastered it satisfactorily or exemplary in your portfolio. And so the maximum total number of possible points is 270 in your portfolio. If you hit these marks as a minimum, then you get for sure the grades that are listed over here on the left. Again, these are points that just add up throughout the semester. No points ever get taken away from you once you have earned them. So That's great in a way. It's also going to make it kind of challenging at any point. If you ask me sort of what is my grade today, professor, that's going to be a hard question for me to answer because the grades are additive, right? So once you reach this level, you get that grade, but until you get there, you haven't gotten that grade yet. So what is my grade as of today is kind of more of a conversation that you and I would have to have, but I'm happy to have it. Either via Discord chat, send me a private message, or we can talk in my video office or whatever. But here are the markers to hit if you are looking to earn a certain grade for the semester. Everybody who's in the course this semester for college algebra should be aiming at least a C-. A D grade will do you almost no good in college algebra at Bridgewater for the following reason. In order to continue to the next course in your sequence after college algebra, whether that's pre-calculus if you're headed towards a calculus sequence at BSU, or whether that's the business math course, Math 132, those prerequisites need to be met by a C- or higher in college algebra. If you receive a D grade, that's going to mean that you're going to have to retake college algebra before you can move on. A D grade would earn you core curriculum credit if you're just taking this course to meet the core curriculum at Bridgewater, but most college algebra students are not. Most of you have some place to be after this in the math sequence, so that C- really needs to be your target. So keep that target in mind, begin with the end in mind this semester, and make sure that that C- is what you're aiming for. Final thing I want to mention, in addition to your portfolio, the only other source of points is going to come from what I call a grade booster. And this semester's grade booster is being a community captain in Discord. So I want to provide an incentive for you to be in the Discord chat, interacting with me, interacting with your classmates as often and as much as you can, to create a vibrant course community that supports one another throughout the semester. That is what makes an asynchronous web course like ours succeed. So I'm incentivizing that by creating these community captain roles. It's a 3-tiered hierarchy of roles depending on how active that you are in our Discord throughout the semester. And as you ascend the ranks, you can earn either 5, 10, or 15 points added into your portfolio for the semester as a grade booster. In order to earn the first rank of assistant captain, you just have to post to the Discord on at least 3 separate days during any given week. And once you receive this role is permanent. This one can't be taken away from you at any time. So this is kind of your way to get started. You reach the rank of associate captain once you've posted a chat message on at least 4 different days in every 7-day period throughout the semester. So you're a bit more involved. You're posting at least once on every 4 out of every 7 days, basically. When you receive this, when you meet that criterion for the first time, you'll get a little message in Discord saying, congratulations, you've been promoted to associate captain. But then you have to keep that up throughout the semester. Once you earn that rank, you can lose it. I'll talk more about that in a second. The highest rank, the rank of captain, is for those who post 5 or more messages on at least 5 out of every 7-day period throughout the semester. So this means you really have to stay active. You can't miss kind of more than 2 days in a row of posting 5 or more messages in the Discord. This is a pretty high bar, but if you meet that bar, I want to reward that with the highest rank, the rank of captain. The associate and captain ranks can be lost because they require you to maintain this pattern of posting on however many days in every 7-day period. And so the rules around those are in order to get those points at the end of the semester, you have to first earn that role no later than the 1st of January. That role must be in place on the last day of the semester, January 18th. And it cannot be revoked more than 1 time. So you can lose the role once, you can lapse once, as long as you get it back. And if you lose that role once, you have to get it back within a 4-day period. So this just makes sure that you don't just sort of do this on 1 week and then drop it for the rest of the semester. I want you to be consistently at these ranks in order to earn these points toward your grade. And that's really going to help our course community to be active and supportive throughout the semester. So reach for these. You'll get little messages in Discord when you achieve these ranks, and your user tag, your user handle in Discord will change color. So you'll be able to see who are the assistant captains because they'll have sort of a bronze medal color to their title, silver medal for associate, and a gold medal for captain. Captains also have an exclusive Captain's Lounge chat channel that only they have access to. I don't know what you'll use that for, but it's that'll be for you if you achieve that rank. So that's a lot to take in with regard to our semester. Please do take the time to review the syllabus in Canvas. It will probably answer a lot of questions, but for any questions that it doesn't answer, please do drop them into the general chat in Discord, and I will try to respond to them as quickly as I can. I'm looking forward to what the next 4 weeks will bring for us. I'm going to talk tomorrow about the specific process of completing completion assignments in the module and using a scanning app to capture written work and upload it to Canvas or to your portfolio. More about that when we come back tomorrow.